Yo, what is up guys? It's the Nightwing at Way of Life Esports coming at you guys with another League of Legends video here today. So if you are a G2 fan, this news is really interesting for G2. As you guys already know, G2Esports had a ton of hype coming into the LEC 2021 Spring Split because they had parted ways with their long-standing player, Perks, who ended up joining Cloud9. Reckless ended up joining G2 after leaving Fnatic. And in the LEC 2021 Spring Split regular season, G2 played really well. They ended up at first place. But then when the LEC announced that the playoffs would be played on stage without a crowd, we saw G2Esports play up against Schalke No Fear in the first round of the LEC 2021 Spring Split playoffs, and they actually visibly struggled. And remember, during the Game 5, Reckless carried that game with the Seraphine pick. Also, you had caps on Lucian, so you had shields and constant damage from the backline for G2's composition during that Game 5 where they took down Schalke No Fear. That best of 5 was back and forth and back and forth. Broken Blade ended up pulling out the Darius. He ended up getting a pentakill. And then Jankos, Wonder, and Mickey X looked really bad in that best of 5. Even Caps didn't play too well in that best of 5 either. And also, when they moved on to face Mad Lions, they ended up losing. And then later on, when they faced Rogue, they ended up losing as well. So you had G2Esports, after so long, not actually being in the final. I think the one other time they didn't actually make a finals run was when they lost to Misfits in the EULCS 2018 Summer Split, where they got knocked out, where they had to make, Worlds by playing the Gauntlet. So looking at the hype that G2Esports had coming into the LEC 2021 Spring Split with this new roster, it's something that a lot of people just didn't really understand, which is something that I brought up, last year when I was, making content surrounding the 2020 offseason, is that when you bring in Reckless, there's a different dynamic that the player is obviously going to bring in other than Perks. Perks has his own dynamic he brings in, obviously, and then now Reckless has his own dynamic they are trying to work with right now. But it's not entirely on Reckless, because he actually wasn't even their worst player. I think he was their best player for the playoffs when they were actually playing up against Schalke, Mad Lions, and Rogue. The issue here is when the LEC announced that they would play the LEC 2021 Spring Split playoffs on stage rather than actually being at home, that creates a different dynamic, because now the players are gonna have to play on stage, and they haven't been playing on stage for a good amount of time, because as you guys already know, some of the G2Esports players, well, pretty much all of them from this current lineup, all played at Worlds 2021. So they did end up playing on stage, obviously at Worlds, but they haven't really played on stage in quite some time, and you visibly saw them making a ton of different mistakes. Then later on, Grabs came out and he said they didn't really have a good read, obviously, on the meta. And then, obviously, you could tell that they just couldn't really get it together for playoffs. But G2 has been so dominant in the LEC for so long, it was bound, obviously, for them to, lose at some point. Like, that's just how competition goes for anybody that's gonna, obviously, watch this video, is you're not always gonna be at the top. Someone's always gonna, usurp you at the top. So you're factoring into yourself, G2 did not go to MSI 2021. They ended up losing to Mad Lions. They ended up losing to Rogue. They struggled against Schalke No Fear. And then you hear or read about this rumor, at BloopGG tweeted on April 20th, 2021, sources at G2Esports will sign at Nelson SNG as their new strategic coach to reinforce their coaching staff for the 2021 LEC Summer Split. Nelson received some other from LEC teams looking to reinforce their staff for this upcoming split, but he chose G2. So I actually saw this guy, on Summoning Insight, because I'm subscribed to, Thorn and Monte Cristo's, YouTube channels, obviously, where they produce some pretty good, League of Legends content. And when I was watching the episodes of Summoning Insight where it had this guy on, I'm like, this guy is pretty smart about the game. I think any team should actually work on, picking this guy up. And then, obviously, on Jankos' stream, he pretty much leaked this. And then today, obviously, G2 obviously put out, welcome at Nelson SNG as our new strategic coach. And then also, as I probably should add this in, Bloop he had a follow-up tweet, right here. I imagine that it is not necessary to clarify it, but this is an addition, not a replacement to anyone from the G2 staff. So what's really interesting about them adding Nelson is that if they don't, well, it's two different things. If they don't get the results they want, he could move into a different position, or they could just move on from him. Or if they like what he's doing, you know, a lot of people really like Grabs, but remember guys, these are organizations. They want to obviously win all the time. Let's just say hypothetically, if G2 doesn't really like what Grabs is doing for them in the LEC 2021 Summer Split and beyond, to obviously, if G2 make the 2021 World Championship, there's a good possibility where I see at some point, you know, Nelson could potentially be the head coach, but I think he'll work as a strategic coach better. But that's just what I've seen over the course of many years, many splits from watching LEC, you know, LCS, LPL, and LCK. But that's pretty much it for this. If you are a G2 fan, let me know what you think about this decision. Obviously, as you guys know, I support G2 and I also support Cloud9, and I like this decision actually right here because it shows me that, you know, G2 did fail during the LEC 2021 Spring Split, but they obviously want to, you know, make an additional change to make things better, which would ultimately bring them closer to winning another LEC title. And I'm predicting, hopefully, G2 meets Mad Lions in the LEC 2021 Summer Split Finals. But I'll see you guys later. Like, comment, subscribe, most of all, enjoy. I'm the Nightwing, and Way of Life Esports is signing out, guys. Peace. Have a good day. See you guys later, and deuces. Peace.